All right, so let's go ahead and put this right there. Get this thing on the workbench. And we're going to start just taking off the strings. Let's see here. I have my string clipper here somewhere. Really cool tool, man. Clips your strings. Also, you can wind your, it's a winder and a string clipper. So, super awesome tool. You can kind of see how these things are just rounded really nice. So they did a really good job in rounding out the frets. You know, let's see, we'll take these off. That actually doesn't look too bad. So we'll leave, maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't use a tail piece. I'm not sure. Let's see, this thing doesn't look too bad either. So this bridge, maybe I'll use it, maybe no, I'm not going to use it. So yeah, you can tell something's not right here. So the screw is actually a lot longer on the low E than what it should be. So this is, yeah, you can even see it right there a little bit better. Let me try to, yeah, that does not look right at all. So yeah, we're not going to use that. I might reuse the posts. I have actual Gibson studs somewheres in my tool chest. So maybe I'll use the Gibson ones, maybe I won't. I'm not sure. Yeah. We'll take this off. Take that off as well. Let me see here. So this is a really nice gold top. I really do like the way it looks. I'm not going to use these top hats either. Now, I'm debating if I should protect it or if I should just go in this way, kind of give it like more character, I guess. I guess that's the fun part about this guitar is that, you know, you can just have fun with it. You don't got to worry about damaging it or scratching it or messing it up. Because that's the idea. You know, we're kind of going for something that's been played hard, gone through a couple of gigs, you know, has that broken in feel to it. I actually have the gold top hats, like legit Gibson gold top hats also somewhere. See, it looks like that was done because maybe the way I'm taking this off was to replicate that piece of scratch, or I think the way it was replicated was like the way I'm doing it now. So maybe doing it that way is the right way. The pots, I'm not going to use these pots. I'm going to possibly use something different. I'm not sure yet. So got that out, got that done. And let's see here. Strings all need to go. Man, these strings feel not good. It's weird because sometimes you can tell a quality string just by feeling it. Sometimes I don't know how to explain it, but you know, when strings feel cheap, they just feel brittle and they don't, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like they just don't feel good. They feel cheap. So we're throwing those away. I mean, I never even plugged this in, to be quite honest with you. I really don't care for these pickups, but I guess for fun, we can see what the output is. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what the output is on these pickups just for fun. Like I said, just for fun, I want to see what kind of output these pickups have. One cool way that I like to do this is pretty simple. You're going to need an ohm reader. You're also going to need a regular output jack, you know, and a cable. There we go. So on the bridge, we're reading a 7.31, which is, yeah, that's pretty low. That is a pretty weak pickup. We're going to definitely get a little bit more umph out of it with the humbucker. There's some P90s that are, you know, some hot P90s that, you know, have a higher output. And on the neck, wow, 6.3. No wonder these things sounded pretty weak. Yeah, 6.3 is pretty low. So I want to say I have a P90 from someone's guitar that I swapped out. It was a neck P90 that we had ended up putting in a humbucker on. We had routed out some humbuckers, and you know, he didn't want the P90 pickup, so I ended up keeping them. The bridge pickup gave to a friend of mine. So that's kind of the cool thing about, you know, working on friends' guitars is that, you know, you can trade parts, sell parts, and or use them for projects like this. So it's pretty neat. So and then middle pickup, you're looking at 3.4. But yeah, that is a really weak pickup. I mean, yeah, no, yeah, I'm not even gonna plug this in or play with these pickups. They're just junk in my opinion. So, all right, let's keep it going. So one thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna remove these. I'm gonna save all these screws only because, like, you never know, you might need them for something else. And plus, I don't even know if I have screws for the other P90, but we're gonna run humbucker. I'm gonna run a humbucker here on the bridge, so these screws are pretty much just, you know, disposable at this point. Pretty neat. Got some springs in there and some foam. I might reuse this foam for this one. Not 100% sure yet. Like I said, I got to go through all of my parts just to make sure that I have the stuff needed for it. So we'll leave those. And the cool thing about this guitar is that we're basically going to do a relic guitar. You know, kind of keep the whole theme of it being vintage, worn in, and, you know, gone through a couple of gigs and stuff like that. So since we're going that approach, I could just leave these hanging. It'll give it more characteristics. I don't got to be super careful on the finish. All right, cool. Got that. Now I'm gonna need to start removing all these knobs, switches. Probably not going to use those. Man, they actually they actually use tape on this. That is crazy. They got 2-way. That's disgusting. Why would they put 2-way? Oh man, that feels so flimsy. No wonder they put 2-way tape on it. That's horrendous. That's trash. Now I gotta work on getting the goo off of this, which is not going to be fun. So cool things, like I said, we don't have to be super careful with these. The idea is it's been gigged pretty hard, gone on the road for a few years. Pickups, wiring looks cheap. It feels actually really, really bad, but overall the quality of the build looks really good. No neck tanning. So one thing that I'm kind of noticing right here is that it looks like there is no maple top. I think it's a maple veneer that this is coming through. It's looking like it's just one solid piece of mahogany. I think it's a mahogany top with a maple veneer that they put on here. I thought it was going to be like at least a half-inch thick maple top or even a quarter-inch thick maple top, but now they just went full mahogany on this thing, which is cool. I mean, no big deal. I mean, like I said, the overall build quality of the guitar looks really good. It just has really cheap parts on it, and that's something we're gonna address. These screws feel really low quality, so we're probably not gonna reuse those. Washers, maybe. You can always use washers, but that's what I said about almost every washer that I have, so I have a baggie full of washers. So right now I'm gonna take the screw off. Let's see. But that's what's gonna be fun about it. So this whole video is basically gonna be me taking it all apart down to the wood. And I think I'm just gonna make this into a little series. I was kind of thinking about just making this one long format video, but one thing that I kind of don't like is sitting down and watching a video for more than 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is. So I think we're gonna do is just break this up into parts. No pun intended. So this video, I think I'm gonna do this in a series on this build. So, and I'm just gonna leave these screws lying around because there's no point in, you know, making this look pretty. Hey, this output jack doesn't look too bad. Oh, that might be a keeper. I don't know yet. And the one thing that kind of is upsetting on this guitar, quite honestly, is the really cheap Gibson custom plate that they have back here. I mean, if you've owned Gibsons before, these are obviously the wrong screws. These aren't correct Gibson screws. This is pretty close though. The little button, that's a pretty close one. But I took off some buttons from my other Gibson that I'm probably gonna put on here. So I have some authentic Gibson parts I might use on this. Maybe I won't. I'm not sure. So that's gonna be determined on the next video. This is gonna be just completely taking this apart. I mean, I understand that it's not real, but I gotta address that. I'm not liking that. That's not cool in my book, man. It's like owning a Pontiac and putting Cadillac emblems on it. It's a GM car, but it's not a Cadillac, you know. You can only fool so many people. I think they use two-way tape on this too. Why would they do that? How can I get that out? Well, if we damage it, I can always shift it and put a new hole in it. So, is it coming? Well, we are doing a relic build, so I'm just gonna dig it into the wood. So we're gonna do some premature relicing on it. We're gonna leave that in there. That looks kind of cool. It tells a story. Logs. I think that's how you say that. Logs. I'm not sure who Logs is, but it's see that in my opinion is not cool, man. Like, why would you just put a black plate on it, you know? I just realized something. This could this could be I think I know where the ethics in this come from. Somebody could buy this and, you know, counterfeit it. It's definitely a counterfeit, but like somebody could buy this and take advantage of somebody by calling this a real guitar. And if you don't know any better, you think you're getting a deal on Facebook Marketplace or on eBay or something like that, and you don't know what you're looking for, you can easily get scammed in this thing. So, guys, be really careful when you're looking at buying a guitar. Have somebody look at it before you buy it, or have contact the seller and have them send you as much information as possible on it. A lot of Gibsons come with certificate of authenticities. They all come with pictures on the guitar, um, serial numbers that should match. So, and I understand older guitars, especially from like the 70s, 60s, even 50s, it's kind of hard to get the documentation for a lot of these things, but just be careful out there and try not to get scammed. This looks like it'll snap. That's really cheap. So, wiring looks really cheap. Wow, they didn't even put the little. Did they put two washers on here? Ah, look at that. There's two washers in there. That is pretty funny. I don't know why I think that's funny, but that's pretty comical. Oh, check this out. So I guess they were trying to do like one of their pancake bodies, I guess. Because I'm looking at the cavity, the, the electronics cavity here, and I can see there's like layers here. And actually, now that I look at it a little bit better, what was that? Oh, I left my reader on too long, my own reader. So if you look at this very carefully, you can kind of see the different layers of wood. So in the 70s and even early 80s, a lot of the Gibsons, they have what was called the pancake bodies. So they would have the maple cap, a mahogany piece, a thin piece of maple, and then another piece of mahogany. I think during those times there was some kind of shortage. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. But I think at one point Gibson was just literally getting scrap pieces of wood and making guitars out of them. I mean, they made works of art out of it, to be quite honest with you. That's probably why the whole idea of the three-piece necks came from. Maybe they were supposed to be, tops, and they said, "Hey, we don't have any necks, so let's get all the maple that we're going to use for tops and go ahead and make necks out of them." That might be the reason why you have three-piece necks like this, but it's kind of fun to come up with theories and all that good stuff. But I think that's what they tried to replicate on this one, because you can kind of see the layers they have on here. So I think they were trying to replicate a pancake body. I already put another ding on it there, I guess, from some of the screws I have lying around on the table, which is cool because that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to replicate. Is this thing is supposed to be that way. All right, let's keep taking it apart. All right, I had to get out of my comfy office chair. That thing was squeaking way too much. I could just only imagine what it sounded like on camera. So, um, anyways, that was kind of embarrassing. But the show must go on. let's see, how do we do this? So essentially the pickups will, from the front of the guitar, will go to the switch, and then from the switch, they will come straight over here. So I'll just cut these. I'm not going to use them. I don't know why I want to try to salvage anything. This is a really nice piece though. I might reuse this. I might not. This is a pretty nice switch, but we'll cut it. So maybe reuse it, maybe not. I don't know yet. So ground wire. You could never have enough ground wires. So definitely going to save this one because you never know. I think that's why I have a hoarder's mentality sometimes, because you just never know. You see potential in something and you want to hang on to it. That's, you know, the downfall to most people. So, but there's more potential. It's got potential. So let's yank that out. Yank that out. The pickups went from the switch to the pot, and then from the pot, pickups to the pot to the switch, and then from the switch to the output jack. That is typically how these are wired. I had it backwards. So we're not saving any of that. We're taking that out. Those are gone. That is gone. So pretty much all that's trash. We are almost done taking this completely apart. I'm still debating if I'm going to keep these studs in there or not. If I do keep them in there, then I am going to have to use this yellow ground wire. Yeah, this definitely looks like a mahogany top that's not maple, which is cool. It's fine. Like I said, this is we'll call this a single cut guitar. I don't know. It's almost offensive to call it an LP or Les Paul or we'll just call it a single cut guitar. That's what it is. I may or may not change the logos. Maybe I'll change the logos on it, on the headstock. I'm not sure yet. So that will be determined later. So we're going to go ahead and take these off right here. This almost looks like, that's interesting. It's usually a piece of felt that they use for this. But it's kind of interesting that it's like almost like vinyl. Let's see here. There we go. It's almost like a piece of vinyl. Kind of like what you would find on the old school bus, like the school bus seats, kind of. That's almost what this looks like. Just a piece of vinyl. Definitely not going to use that. So, body part's done. Now, for the neck part.